Honourable Chief Minister of Penang, Yang Muhammad Tuan Lim Tuan Eng, fellow representatives of Commonwealth High Commissions and Commonwealth Armed Forces, members of the EXCO of Penang and the Penang Municipal Council, representatives of the Penang Veterans Association, particularly to their President Harold Spillwind, members of the National Ex-Servicemen's Association, the Malaysian Gurkha Association, the Association of Forced Labour and Heritage, the Siam Burma Death Railway, members of the Penang Heritage Trust, representatives of the Malaysian Armed Forces and of the Royal Malaysian Police, representatives of various veterans associations, individual veterans, Dato, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. For me, it's a great pleasure and a privilege to be here today and to be given the opportunity to speak at this rededication and reclaim ceremony. I'd like to begin by congratulating the Executive Committee and members of the Penang Veterans Association for what they have achieved, not only in making today happen, but for the various other things they've done since they were founded in January 2001. Veterans associations throughout the world play an important role, assisting less fortunate ex-servicemen and families in terms of education and welfare needs. I know that's an important role for the Penang veterans. The Penang Veterans Association has really achieved a great deal in this area, and they continue to provide a general focus for camaraderie and support. Perhaps the most visible example of their efforts is here today, in the form of the Cenotaph itself, newly refurbished. First time I visited Penang, about 2 years ago now, I was struck by the appalling condition of this symbol of remembrance to our fallen servicemen who gave so much for their countries. I recall writing nearly 2 years ago, asking if something could be done. Something has been done. The continued efforts of the Penang Veterans Association kept the matter uppermost in the minds of the leadership of the Penang government, and I'm extremely grateful to them for allocating funding and taking action to refurbish this important landmark, which was originally built sometime between 1918 and 1922 to remember the fallen of the First World War. It's certainly now an appropriate and splendid focus for us all to remember those who sacrificed their lives to ensure that Malaya, and later Malaysia, was free to develop into the highly successful nation we know today. I attend a lot of these veterans events around the country, and sometimes I'm asked, why bother? Why do you spend time attending events in Sarawak, in Sabah, in Perak, in Kuala Lumpur, and now here in Penang? After all, it happened a long time ago, and many of the people involved are no longer with us. And the answer I give is that there are two important reasons. The first is to remember the sacrifice of all these brave men and women, both British and Commonwealth forces, and of course local Malaysian forces, and many civilians who suffered and died. The second reason is to ensure that the historical lessons of conflict, and we heard Harold's eloquent description of the various world wars, insurgencies, emergencies, and confrontations that have taken place here in Malaysia and the region. The second reason is to ensure that the historical lessons of conflict and war are not forgotten, and our children and our children's children will avoid it at all costs. There's some here today who fought in the Second World War, many who fought in the emergency and confrontation. I hope that you too are pleased that your comrades are able to be remembered in this way. That is, with an appropriate cenotaph or an annual memorial service, which the Penang Veterans Association has been organising each year since 2004. Finally, can I reiterate my thanks to the Penang Veterans Association for all of this, including today's event. I'd like to thank everyone here today for making the effort to support them and to remember those who fell in the name of freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Mr. Paul Wreath, the British High Commissioner. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now with the greatest honor and pleasure for me to kindly invite our guest of honor, Yang Muhammad Tuan Lim Tuan Eng, the Honorable Chief Minister of Penang, to deliver the next address. Let's welcome the Honorable Chief Minister, please.